to 45 seconds, we'll get started here. So bear with me, and we'll be ready to go here shortly. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We want to kind of introduce everybody to IAC, kind of give them some background on the company. So what we did is we got together with the Vice President and the Chief Marketing Officer, a guy by the name of Scott Dunball. He's going to be on here. He's got some questions that we have been asked about the company, so we sent them off to him, and he's going to try and address those issues. And then also we have some underwriting questions. Hopefully Kristen Gartner from the home office or the back office will be there to answer our underwriting questions, and then we will move through here and try to have you in and out of here so everybody can get back to work. So with that said, kind of talk a little bit about what we want to talk about, different topics today. We want to introduce you, of course, as we just said, to IAC, go over some frequently asked questions, show you a map of where this product is available, both pending and already accepting business, discuss how the household discount works, and give you the different ways to submit new business. And then at the end, we have a contact sheet that you're more than happy we can get to you should you want it. Over on the right-hand side of your screen, you always have a drop-down menu to where you can type questions in as we move through the webinar. If you have those, go ahead and get those in. We'll read those back at the end. So without too much more to do, let's go ahead and get into these questions the agents have asked us. Scott, I'm going to just go ahead and introduce you again. Guys and gals, this is Scott Dunball. He is the Vice President, Chief Marketing Officer for IAC, and I'm just going to put all the questions that we had gotten in here, and I'll let Scott address those as we move through here. So Scott, if you would, kind of address these questions, and then we will move right along.
Yeah, I sure will, Bill. Thanks very much, and thanks everybody. Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to spend a little bit of time today and introduce IAC. And the first question is, what does IAC stand for? And it stands for Individual Assurance Company. So if you're out there looking for financial information and you type in IAC and come up with a video game company, try Individual Assurance Company, and you'll end up with us. As Bill said, this is kind of a collection of questions that both from Bill's standpoint and from my standpoint we've heard, and we certainly want to equip you all with as much information about IAC as possible to make you comfortable in working with us, and also making your clients comfortable. There are a lot of faces and names in the insurance scene out there, and you need to rest assured that IAC is well grounded in the business, has been around for quite a while, and is ready and willing and excited about this opportunity. So I'm just going to read these questions and then address it. Number one, can you tell the IAC story? How do we get started? What product lines? What have we offered in the past? IAC began doing business in the early 50s as an insurance agency. So we've been distribution focused from the very beginning, an insurance agency doing business with financial institutions. The founder was a gentleman named Robert Stroud, a scrappy entrepreneurial sales guy who decided early on that there was a real opportunity in trying to market insurance and other financial protection products through banks. So for 17 years, Rob fought the good fight as an insurance agency, and then in the early 70s decided it was probably time to join the carrier side as well. So in 1973, Individual Assurance Company was chartered as a Missouri domicile insurance company. So there's been a lot of years and a lot of time since then. Today we operate in certificates of authority in 43 states, the District of Columbia. The 7 states we're not in, basically take New England and kind of carve that out. That's the area we're not involved in. And we're also doing business in Guam, Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, in the Pacific, the Federated States of Micronesia, American Samoa, and have active business in the Pacific. As I said before, traditionally we focused on bank product lines, but just within the last 5 years have undergone ownership change and restructuring. I joined the company in 2011. And today our areas of focus are really on three things. Number one would be program business underwriting, and this Medicare supplement program is a perfect example. Specialty group programs, that goes back to the Pacific business I was talking about. And then using our capital to do block insurance acquisitions and administration. So, the leadership team of IAC is very, very focused, as our moniker says, focused on what matters most. We're very focused on a small handful of businesses that we have confidence in. Our leadership team has lots of experience. I've been in the business for over 20 years now, primarily in the distribution side. Our CEO and our Chief Operating Officer have both spent time in leadership roles of companies focused primarily on life, health, and annuities, and our COO has a depth of experience at a regional Medicare sup underwriting company that I'm sure you're all familiar with, but who shall go nameless, and it's what he did for a long time. So we're excited about that, the opportunity here. We think it's a natural offshoot of IAC's history, and we're really excited about it. Question 2. Is it true that IAC has about $4 billion of in-force premium currently? By any standard, that's a big number. Where did that premium come from? Well, let's divide $4 billion of face amount of insurance from $4 billion of premium. We hope eventually to get to $4 billion of premium, but the $4 billion is in face amount. So what that says is we're not the biggest kid on the block, which is certainly okay with us, because we would much rather be an insurance company that can be nimble, that can be responsive, and be in a position to really drive growth and respond to both customer and field needs in a nimble manner, as I said. Where does most of that business come from? For now, it still comes, a lot of that from that legacy bank business, but primarily group life insurance programs and some supplemental business that we do as well. But we intend for MedSup to be one of our premier lines of business right there with those other two. Number 3, with IAC introducing a MedSup plan in over 40 states, what's the long-term goal for IAC? What agents always worries about is, will you be here next year, and are you going to take big rate increases? That's a great question. So, the way I approach this, the way IAC approaches this, is just go back to those, three key businesses that I talked about: the program business, which includes MedSup, the specialty group underwriting, and the block administration. We really see a particular amount of opportunity in the senior market and affinity markets, and we know it's important to diversify our sources of business. One of the reasons that we decided to get out of the bank line of business, essentially, or kind of put that on the back burner, was we saw increasing regulation, and banks are just distracted. The real growing marketplace in this country is and will continue to be the senior market. So we think that this is a great place, a really great place to start. Now, in those 3 lines of business, we have some natural diversification, but we're going to continue to focus our work in those areas and be able to intentionally grow the senior market in a manner that doesn't result in outsized rate increases for the market. It's our hope, and of course a lot of this depends upon results, that we want to be very, very measured in any rate increase that we take. We know that it's going to be to the long-term benefit of the company and long-term benefit to distributors to be measured about it, and that's our plan, is to do that. And that's another reason why we're really teaming up with some very experienced partners from an administration standpoint, from a reinsurance standpoint, and a distribution standpoint, because we know that it takes experience and it takes a lot of good sense about the market, and we've really been particularly, I think, in tune with the demands of the market right now, with a lot of new entrants, a lot of moving parts right now. So I think we've got some good advice in building out this program, and it's going to keep everybody in pretty good shape. Question number 4. Scott, right now There's a lot of competition in the marketplace. We've seen several carriers jumping into the med-sup industry in the past 2 years. What sets IAC apart from the rest, and what would you tell an agent who's looking to do business with IAC? That's another great question. And once again, I think it goes back to being focused, number one, and being nimble. You know, one thing that I think the entire IAC management team has realized is that it's really important to be, to the greatest extent possible, easy to do business with at every turn. And we really want to focus and work hard at being easy to do business with. I know that that med-sup agents and senior market agents are not going to be bashful about letting us know when we're not easy to do business with, and we want to know that. We want to be able to make the changes that we need to make to be able to be easy to do business with. Like I said before, we've got a load of experience in our management team, so I think you'll get you know, a pretty quick take and hopefully a refreshing take on things from us, because there's not a lot that between us and our partners that we haven't seen, and I think we've got a pretty good sense about the market. Question 5. Do you think IAC will get into other product lines catering to the senior market, let's say dental, vision, hearing plan, or possibly indemnity or cancer plan? Well, I think the answer to that is a flat out yes. If I had to choose, I'd say we'd probably see us in the indemnity cancer supplemental market in fairly short order. And we may partner with some other people in the dental, vision, hearing area, because I think, you know, a lot of that's just kind of a different skill set. But as I said before, our focus is on the senior market, and will continue to be on the senior market, and trying to drive value in maybe some non-estate planning, high face amount, high premium products. We think there's a lot more opportunity in the senior middle market. You've got a lot better distribution coverage. You've got a lot better diversification of risk from an insurance company standpoint, and frankly, you just got a lot more consumer demand in that world, and that's where we want to be. Question 6. Bill, I haven't confused you yet or anything, have I?
No, I'm trying to get an app in because I got to start talking again here in a minute.
Okay, good. Question number 6. This is painful. You currently have a B+ rating with AM Best. When you sit down with AM Best, what do they want to see in order to maintain your rating with AM Best? What does the company have to do to improve it? Agents often ask the rating of the company, but many of them may not know what goes into attaining a high B+ or above rating. Can you shed some light on that? Now, that is a loaded question, I will tell you right now. I don't know who submitted that one. I'll go talk to that person. That sounds like somebody else. That sounds like an insurance carrier plant. First of all, I'd say 2 things. I said if you can find the answer to those first 2 questions, is what is Best looking for and what do you have to do to improve it, become a consultant to insurance companies, you'll be able to charge a lot of money to get that answer. So just do that right now. But seriously, in our experience, rating agencies generally want to see 3 things. Okay, number 1 is a business plan. Number 2 is capital. Number 3 is results. And they want to see all 3. If you have a lot of capital with no plan and no results, you're not going to get a rate increase. If you have a plan with no capital, you're not going to have results. You just have a plan. So you got to have all 3. And pretty easy, not really, because you know plans are a dime a dozen, as you all know. Excess capital is a dream for most insurers, particularly right now in a I'd say low interest rate environment. Although I have to say our risk-based capital for IAC is more than adequate. And results take time. I mean, you got to execute. So there's no magic formula, but plan of capital results, that's what they're looking for. I think in the last 3 years, or at least since I've been with IAC, our CEO Jim Harlan has done a really good job. You know, speaking on behalf of IAC, certainly not speaking on behalf of Best, of outlining and executing our plan is shared with AM Best. You know, insurance companies need to be you know, nimble. We need to be responsive to the markets that we operate in. So plans don't necessarily always go according to plan, but I think one of the things that we do well is respond to changes in the marketplace, and I think we do a good job of that. So you know, it's probably only a matter of time, without making any predictions, that we will break through that next rating barrier, and you'll see an A or something along that line. So I think that takes care of, unless Bill, you've had any additional questions or just a couple other follow-up items I'd like to say. Is there any additional
No, you might just address where IAC's headquarters is at. I know you guys have recently located to Oklahoma.
That's a good idea. Didn't cover that. We started as a Missouri domiciled insurance company, but we recently redomesticated, moved our headquarters from Kansas City to Oklahoma City. So you will see now that IAC is an Oklahoma domiciled insurance company. Oklahoma's regulatory environment is favorable. We've got, I think, a good relationship, good working relationship, and a respectful relationship with the Department of Insurance and Commissioner in the state of Oklahoma. They've been very gracious in accepting our redomestication, and we're mutually excited about IAC's growth plans. One of the things that we are working on, that I'm personally working on right now, is rebranding, and I would say a relaunch of IAC's public face. Our current CEO and now 100% owner, Jim Harlan, is an actuary by background. He's been in the business for 45 years as the leader of the life and annuity business for Horace Mann Insurance. He was the president of John Deere Life. He was the president of Chase Insurance, where I met Jim, which was the former Zurich Life in North America, and is just a very entrepreneurial guy. So in the course of Jim getting outright control of the company with an investment group that he had been a part of earlier, after Robert Stroud was bought out, we're in the process of kind of relaunching the brand, the image, and the face of IAC. So within the next hopefully 30 to 60 days, you will see a relaunched IAC website. You'll see much more of a brand presence out there that I think will help you all in cementing a favorable image for IAC among your customers. But as I said before, there's an awful lot of strong partners standing behind IAC and beside IAC in this marketing effort. So I want you to rest assured that we've got top drawer partners operating this. That's all I have. I appreciate the time. I certainly appreciate everyone's business. I appreciate you looking and considering the IAC value proposition. And if there are any questions I can answer at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me or through Bill Ellsworth or any of his team members. Bill, I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Scott. Great job. I appreciate you addressing those issues, because we have, these are not just questions we made up. These were questions that actually came in from agents when we first started launching the IAC opportunity. And guys, we picked the time to launch, which is a tough time to launch any new product right in the middle of AEP. But I think what you're going to find when you take a look at IAC's availability map that we will show you here in just a second, so we can get the product really, we got it on the tracks. What we really want to do now is see it pick up steam in 2015. It's hard to believe that 2014 is almost over, but IAC is well positioned to become a strong competitor when you look into 2015, 2016, and beyond. So, great company. Been dealing with their management team and in their home office, just down-to-earth people, easy to do business with, eager to solve problems when they arise. And guys, that's important in any business, regardless of what you're doing. Trying to get through to IAC is pretty easy. Try to get through to AARP and see the comparison. But